So, long time no see, but today we are once again gonna go through certain things, I guess. You know what? Today we're gonna talk about eating and food and calories and all of these things because I guess, and I do want to underline guess that a ton of people don't necessarily know about high volume, low calorie foods, which means that you can eat a lot more for a lot less calories. Quite. And, or at least, you can eat more for the same amount of calories as something else that is way higher in calories, but way lower in volume. And there's actually a subreddit which is r/volume eating. And I don't actually, well, I do know why I'm having this tab opened, but we're just gonna have a look at it. The first one, protein fluff is the best thing that's that ever happened to me. That is all. I do know protein fluff, but I can't recall how it is made. So recipe for those requesting. I've seen official recipes online, but for this one, I winged it. 2 cups ice cubes, I grabbed 2 handfuls, this is not exact. Half a cup of unsweetened almond milk. 1 full scoop whey protein, mine is unflavored, so I added some vanilla stevia drops. 1/3 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum and about 1.5 to a half to 1 cup of cold water, enough so that the blender can do its thing and that it's not gonna fucking burn and die and you're gonna destroy it. Blast it all in a blender until fluffy, pour in bowl and add toppings, just strawberries for me. It tastes like an airy version of half-melted soft serve. I've added orange extract for orange creamsicle flavor. It's good with a couple spoons. I'm sorry. A couple of spoons cacao powder too if you prefer chocolate. Which blender are you using? Probably something that's working quite fine. I actually have also tried that, but I wouldn't consider it protein fluff. If you Google protein fluff, you're gonna encounter something different, but more or less protein ice cream, because it's kind of the same thing, You're having ice and you're having some milk type of thing. Some people, and I also thought about that, add quark or some yogurt or some shit, and also jelly or jello, some sugar-free jello, which is not available where I'm living, but when it is where you're living, then you could definitely also use that, just for consistency purposes. And I do not have xanthan gum, but I do have guar gum. And I've been experimenting with it for the past few days, and I don't really know what to think about it. I do think and guess and suggest it using when you're having food that can be blended, which is pretty tiny amount, but or if you're just able to whisk it pretty heavily, because I've tried it with oats yesterday, and I did it like, okay, I've added the oats, and then I added the guar gum, and then I add the cinnamon and also the cacao powder, just what I'm usually doing. And so I decided not to put the guar gum in when I've put the water already into the whole bowl. You know what I mean? So I'm whisking everything together, like all the dry ingredients, and then add the fluids. Because I thought, well, if I'm doing it like that, then it is for sure not gonna clump up. But guess what it did? It clumped up. But I think that I'm gonna try it today once again. And since I think that I've used way too less of guar gum, since the whole bowl was more than 1 liter and more than 1 kilogram, and for that it really worked quite fine. If you have 1 fucking kilogram of food for around 300 and actually 400 calories. It's quite amazing if you think about it. Anyway, creamy gajoon pasta with chicken, andouille sausage. 291 calories for pictured serving, which is quite a lot. And I mean, the thing is, if you want to have pretty low calorie food, the thing you should be looking out for is less fat, since fat is having more calories than carbs and proteins, whereas carbs and proteins are having 4 calories per gram, fat is having 9, which is more than double the amount of calories per gram, which also makes almonds and or any other nut pretty pretty bad if you're trying to diet down. And of course it is healthy, of course it is good fats, of course yada yada yada, but in the end it is just way too much calories for what it delivers, Also because you can overeat on them so fucking easily. So I would rather suggest, for example, using cacao powder, which is also, quite pure fat, but is also having protein as well as the nuts. But in my point of view, you can get way more out of it than just some simple nuts. As well as any veggie, they all are pretty low in calories. For example, I do like carrots, even though they are one of the highest in calories, which are having 41 calories per 100 gram. But yesterday I weighed some carrots that I was using for my meal cooking, and they only had fucking 200 grams, which is 80 calories, which is, really fine. And I'm using the amount 2 times a day, so I'm having 160 calories for 400 grams of food, basically. You know what I mean? It's a no-brainer. More than a 1.1 kilogram of fruit adds lower than 500 kilocalories. I don't see why fruit isn't a bigger staple for people. It's delicious as fuck, it's inexpensive, well, I wouldn't say so. It's low calorie for its volume, and it's easy to prepare. Yeah, and there I see bananas and blueberries and orange. And yeah, I mean, it is a pretty big bowl, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, 500 calories is also something, and you're not gonna have any protein. If you're just trying to diet down, if you're just trying to get leaner, yes, eat more fruits and eat more veggies. Something that I've seen with myself and my body is when I eat too much fruit, then I think that I tend to get problems with my liver. I don't know why exactly. In my childhood, I've been fructose intolerant, so maybe this is a part of the whole problem. But I once got my blood tested, and and then when I got my results, I had some not bad liver results, but they weren't amazing as well. Especially when you consider the healthy way that I'm eating. Like, I really am eating quite healthy, besides all the artificial sweeteners that I'm now consuming, but I haven't done this back in the day. So it was really quite strange, and I've always been quite thin. I've always been quite skinny. So the only thing that I can attribute it to is fruits, actually, and fructose, whatever. And so yeah, but in terms of inexpensive, I think berries, they are not inexpensive. They are, at least where I'm living, they are quite expensive. But yeah, I also, yesterday, I figured out that oranges, at least at my point of view, are the best fruit to consume, even though, 100 grams are having, let me lie, I think 46 or something calories, or 44, something around 40. And if you get, I think, not even nearly 100 grams, then you cover your whole vitamin C intake for the day. So that's a no-brainer, especially compared to apples, which, they are not as good as I thought they are. But obviously, it's not only about the macronutrients and calories, but also micronutrients. Yes. So you should get your vitamins and minerals and everything. Fruits are so amazing. One of my favorite desserts right now is a small cantaloupe filled with sugar-free vanilla yogurt topped with cinnamon and more fruit, which is around 140 calories in all. Yeah, I think, well, let's actually figure that out. I wanted to look that up yesterday, but low calorie fruit. Fruits. Let's see. I think that watermelon is going to be one of the best ones. Yes, let's have a look at it. The produce section. Oh, by the way, 2 large celery stalks are having 13 calories. 2 cups of shredded romaine lettuce is having 18 calories. A half a cucumber, which is a really fucked up metric because like a cucumber can just be pretty heavy, but since it's almost only water, it's having really low calorie. 1 medium tomato, 25 calories, which by the way, I do think tomato is the lowest calorie fruit because it's not a veggie actually. Half a cup of sugar snap peas, 30 calories. 1 carrot is 30 calories as well with 2 grams of fiber. And 1 cup jicama sticks is 45 calories and 6 grams of fiber. It's actually quite a lot, not gonna lie. But I actually wanted to see what fruits are like. So 1 peach is 37 calories, which is like, yes, I don't know how big is the fucking peach anyway. Half a grapefruit is 37 calories. 1 cup sliced strawberries is 50 calories, which probably is going to be more than a peach, I guess. 1 cup watermelon pieces is having 51 calories. 1 cup papaya pieces 54. And then cantaloupe is 56. So I think an orange is 60. 1 orange is 60 calories. I mean, the orange that I've eaten yesterday, which was 228 grams, was, according to some website I don't remember the name of, but it's actually pretty cool. Well, I actually have to give it a name. It's Chronometer. It really gives you the details of your diet if you just type in everything. I am actually not the biggest fan of, what is it called? That everyone quite uses. You know, where you can also just put in all your macros and calories and what you've eaten and whatnot. But I think Chronometer is actually a bit better, you know. There I also see like my calcium, copper, iron, B12, B6, vitamin D, all that fucking shit. Also caffeine, by the way. So let me see. Maybe I should also kind of go over that someday, but yeah, anyway. So, as I said, the orange that I was eating yesterday with 228 grams was, and I can actually look it up now to be exact, 107 calories. Which means that per 100 gram, you are gonna have around, indeed, 60, I guess, 50, 60, 46, something like that, calories. And I'm having 134% of my vitamin C, 17% of my vitamin A, 9% of my calcium, and 14% of my fucking fiber for 100 calories. So if I eat 2 actually pretty large oranges a day, it's not that many calories. Really, really, really fucking not. Anyway, let's see. Improvised cheesecake pancakes, 230 calories and 23 grams of protein. Quick and filling apple snack with almond butter. No, don't use fucking almond butter or any other fucking nut butter if you're trying to really get just your way down. Of course, you need the fat, and I've seen in myself that sometimes I really, 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 really do not eat enough fat. But just, yeah, you know, you shouldn't be drinking it quite. High protein, 2.7 pounds plate of pancakes, make cutting easy again. But what about the calories, man? Let's see. I know that's zero, but that low-key looks like pancakes topped with country gravy and a tad bit of brown gravy, lol. For some reason, my Greek yogurt was pretty runny, nonetheless, still slaps. Yeah, I'd like to have the macros there as well, but anyway. Then, of course, I mean, there is like 1 cup cooked brown rice noodles, veggies. Well, at least in my point of view, everything like noodles, whether they are rice noodles or something else, quite often are pretty high in calories. I tend to eat quite a lot of lentils, And it really heavily depends on what lentils you're using and also the brand that you're using. You know, some, especially dried lentils, even though they soak up quite a lot of water and end up being like 2 or 3 times as much as you initially weighted it, you know, per 100 grams they're having around 300 and 30, 40, 50 calories, something like that, which is quite fine. You know, it really is quite fine. If you think about, okay, you're gonna have 2 meals of them, being then around 700, 800-ish calories, which is okay. It's fine. It's also quite filling, and they're also pretty healthy. I'm not gonna lie. I could actually also give you the stats for that. Even though I haven't eaten lentils yesterday, have I? Oh yeah, I did. So I'm gonna give you for red lentils. I like them a bit more because you don't have to soak them most often. It depends on the brand, obviously, as well. But yeah, you know, they're cooking in like 10 minutes, like noodles. I think in terms of the nutrients are way better. But yeah, for example, I've eaten 100 grams of lentils, red raw, which is having, according to the Chronometer, 358 calories. But mine are having 335, something like that, so 20 calories less around. But apparently to Chronometer as well, you're gonna have 92% of your iron intake, 51% of your folate intake, 19% of your potassium intake, 28% of your fiber intake as well, or mine at least. Then B1, 42%, B6, 31%, and folate, as I said, 51%. They're quite carb heavy, so this is something to think about. Copper, 145%. Magnesium, or manganese, 75%. A bit of fat, actually also 33% of zinc. And in terms of protein, since there's also, you have cysteine, histidine, isoleucine, and whatnot, and they are all pretty much covered pretty greatly. But the only thing that is below 50% is methionine, which is having 33%. So that's for lentils. They're pretty nice. You know, I like lentils. They also taste pretty nicely. Stuffed angel food cake, a lower calorie alternative for summer parties. Tastes delicious and won't kill your whole day. Whole cake is 2,000 calories. I did 10 slices, so 208 calories per slice. I've actually seen less. It looks pretty good, not gonna lie. But it is also covered with fucking powdered sugar, so yeah. Brunch for under 400 calories. Lots of bites and savory flavors in this, and it's quick to make. Well, I do think spices are just a great way to make food interesting, and also using things like ginger and everything else that might be considered as a spice freshly. I don't know if it is. I mean, it is a root technically, but yeah. Also beetroots, they are amazing, and also relatively low in calories. I mean, if you're really trying to lean down in terms of you're not trying to be that muscular and whatnot, and you have to think about your protein intake and whatnot, then eat a ton of veggies and a ton of fruit. You're gonna be satiated, and then you're gonna be fine. Also, fish. You know, I've seen like fish, 100 grams, like 70 calories or some shit, which is insane for the amount of protein that you're getting. Also because it's like only lean protein. You know, you're basically only eating protein, but I like fish. Some people don't. Let's actually have a look. No, I can't do that. Well, what if I type in fish? In Chronometer, what am I gonna find? Fish oil, cod liver. No. Brands, restaurants, custom, common foods. Fish fillet breaded, no. Fish sauce, fish stew, red fish or seafood with cream or white sauce. Well, let's actually look it up. I'm just willing to Low calorie protein. White fleshed fish. There you go. Good sources of low calorie, low fat protein for weight loss. It's going to be an extremely long episode once again, I think. How does a high protein diet help you lose weight? Protein foods help you lose fat and build lean muscle mass. How so? Protein is hard for us to digest, so when we eat it, we burn more calories. So yes, in terms of that, it makes more sense. So if you eat protein, you're only gonna get like 60% of your calories, I guess. If you eat them, like there is a percentage, I don't remember it correctly. So if you eat protein, compared to all the other macronutrients, you're gonna have less of the calories than the other things, even though the amount is the same, just because it just takes so much energy for our body to break it down. Yeah. So what makes certain foods a good source of protein for weight loss? We have broken our list of high protein, low fat foods into categories: produce, red meats, poultry, legumes, grains, dairy, nuts, and seeds. The first one is spinach, which is actually having 5 grams of protein for 1 cup, which is insane, actually. Sun-dried tomatoes, guava, artichokes, peas, red meat. There we have grass-fed beef, bison, ostrich, which I think is going to be quite expensive, pork, seafood, halibut or halibut, which is having 77 calories per 3 ounces and 16 grams of protein. And if we calculate that, so we're having 16 grams times 4, which is 64 calories from the protein itself, which means that we're gonna have around 10 calories left for everything else, which is coming maybe from fat. I actually don't know, probably. Then we have wild salmon, which is pretty high in calories due to its high fat content. Light canned tuna, not in fucking oil, doesn't make any sense. Also amazing thing. Pacific cod. Then poultry and eggs, we're having turkey, 140 calories and 16 grams of protein per quarter pound, apparently. Chicken, obviously, 3 ounces is having 142 calories and 26 grams of protein. So if you think about it, if you compare chicken to fish, you can eat twice amount of fish. It depends on the fish, obviously, for the same amount of calories, and you are actually gonna have 16 times 2 is 32. You're also gonna have more protein for the 30. Yeah, in the 30s. I don't care. Eggs, I think they are fine, but 1 egg is having 85 calories apparently, or just according to them, which is not that exact, I think. People say 1 normal egg is having 50 calories, 55, and yeah, it's also pretty high in fat, to be honest. Anyway, beans and legumes, we have beans. It also heavily depends on the beans that you're eating. I mean, if you're eating canned beans, they most often are way lower in calories than the dried ones. But also you have to think about the fact that the dried ones, they're going to soak up the water and they're going to expand, and you're going to have more than initially. But I do think that you still are able to eat more if you're using the canned ones instead of the fresh ones or dried ones. Lentils, yes. Peanut butter, don't fucking use it. Grains, sprouted whole grain bread. Yes, I mean, just have a look at the labels and figure out which thing is having the most amount of protein and the least amount of calories. Which in the end is gonna ends up in having a really low amount of fat and carb, but high protein. For example, quark, it's amazing. But yeah, I think that I'm gonna end the episode there. It's probably pretty long. I should have a look at the time. 25 minutes once again. Anyway, bye bye.